Hi, everybody. It's Kanesha from boldlivingtoday.com. Hi, everyone on Instagram, and hello on Facebook Live. I know Wednesday Club is supposed to start at noon Pacific time, and I'm a little bit on CP time, but it is so nice outside here in California in the Bay Area, and I took a longer walk with my friends today. We discovered a new path, so it just took me a little bit longer to get ready after a long walk, but it was totally worth it. So now I'm here. I'm super excited to talk to you. So Wednesday Club, for those of you who are new, is our weekly broadcast for the Bold Living Today community. And club stands for creativity, learning and successfully navigating life transitions, untangling from things and thoughts that keep us small. Hello, Kaya. And building and amplifying our boldness. So that's the club, C.L.U.B. So creativity, learning from life lessons, untangling from stuff that's not going to let us be bold, and of course, building and amplifying the boldness. So I'm super excited to be here. This is episode number 8. So thank you for your feedback from last week's episode. And I have my notes here because I had some questions that came through and I want to answer those before we get started. So last week we talked about, it was Boss Day, which was really fun. So people were celebrating their bossness, however that shows up in your life. So, hey bosses. And then we talked about specifically getting out of a slump. The time is changing. It's darker now when we wake up. You know, it's crazy commuting sometimes because it's hard to see. So make sure your windshields are clean. Keep your windows clean so that you don't crash or anything like that. And then we just talked about how self-rejection tends to show up at this time of year because people are counting down to the next year coming, the calendar year ending. This quarter is the last quarter of the current decade, so people are feeling pressure around that. And so I just talked about different ways to get yourself out of the slump. And so one of the questions that came up was, I talked about practicing the art of subtraction. And someone says, when things are so pressing and you have so much you're managing and so much to do, how do you know what to subtract? Excellent question. I typically tell people to look at things that are causing them the most stress. See if it's causing them stress every day. Is it consuming their mind, consuming their time, not allowing them to enjoy things that they normally enjoy? And if that's the case, to look at that one particular area, that one particular item, and see where you can offload some of that duty or the requirements for that, get additional help from that, or see if you can just untangle from it altogether. So in practicing the art of subtraction is really looking at things that are underserving you, things that are keeping you stuck, things that are causing unnecessary hurdles or burdens. So you want to subtract from those things, get rid of those things, or offset them until it's a better time for you to work on them, or until you have additional support, or until you're able to actually handle more. Because sometimes we have to subtract things during times that we really have a lot going on. Maybe you're caring for a loved one, a relative, and so that's taking up a lot of your time. So you have to subtract from other things. Maybe you're more focused on your own wellness right now, so you have to subtract from some other things that would become a distraction from that important thing of working on your wellness. So when you're practicing the art of subtraction, you are getting rid of things that are just not necessary for right now. You might get rid of them forever, or you might come back to them in a better season or a better time, or when you have a better support structure around you. So that was one question about navigating the slump. And then the other thing was about, I'm looking at my notes and I was writing too quickly. The question was, I was talking about building in space for journaling, and how when I journal in the morning, I like to put on my diffuser, have a little aromatherapy going. I have a diffuser in my bedroom. I have one in like the family area where we congregate. And so I have scents going. So a couple questions about that. What types of oils am I using? So we have a local store, Sprouts, and we also have Whole Foods, but Sprouts is closer to my house. So I typically go there because I can walk. And they usually have, they have tons of essential oils, and I'm not an essential oil expert, but my mother-in-law is, because she was a massage therapist before she retired. So sometimes I will reach out to her and tell her, I'm looking for something that makes me feel calm, something that's energizing, and she'll give me suggestions. But at Sprouts, and I'm sure at Whole Foods and any other places like Pharmaca or places where you can find essential oils. I know you can find essential oils at Bed Bath & Beyond even. They will have some blends that are already there for you. So if you don't want to spend time blending your own scents, they're there. And you can get the ones that go with what feeling you're trying to evoke or what type of tone you're trying to set for your environment. And so I really like the ones that are about calm. I like the ones that are about relaxation. And I like the ones that are about energy or like clearing the air. So, and my daughter who's in college, she loves her diffuser, and she's all about, oh, I have to focus on a project. Let me get the diffuser going. Let me set up my space and environment to take care of my mind, body, and creativity. So that's super fun. And then the other piece is, what do I do if my husband doesn't like the scent? I don't do anything. I still run that diffuser because I love it so much. Compromise for better or for worse. So those were some fun questions from the last episode, from episode 7. And about the episodes, on Instagram, the live only is available for 24 hours, but they on Facebook, on Kanesha Baynard Coaching, you can access all the episodes whenever you want. And then also on my YouTube channel, which you can go to through my website, boldlivingtoday.com. So if you need to catch up and binge watch any of the Wednesday clubs, they are there for you on Facebook and YouTube whenever you need them. Yes, thumbs up to that. Okay, so episode 8 today, what I want to talk about is vision boards. So last Thursday, gosh, I can't believe it's already been a week, but last Thursday I had a meetup for the women who attended my January vision board session. So in January of 2019, we had a big vision board party. It was about 30 of us, and it was such a good time. It was pouring rain, which that is just never the case, and all dark and wintry here, which, anytime we get any weather, it's like, oh my goodness. But all the women showed up. Only 2 people were unable to go. One had a sick child and one's electricity went out. So, very real things. But everybody really made the effort to come. And we had such a good time and, worked for 2.5 hours of me showing people how to do really focused visioning and then how to translate that into a visual representation. And I always have tons of activities with tools and different things to use, like washi tape, glitter, the different boards, poster boards, or using index cards because people have a smaller space, or they might want to have a portable vision board, take it with them in their purse, or be able to change it up. I have these little mini vision boards here. Let's see. That I change up based on what I'm doing. And so I can move them out based on the quarter, based on the month, based on the goal, and all of that. So I love using the index cards that are 5x7. So last Thursday, I invited all the women to come to the vision board meetup. So it wasn't a formal event. We were starting at 7:00 and going until about 8:30-ish. Sometimes women start chatting and it goes longer, which is great. And so just a small segment of the group came out of the 30, which is totally fine. And so I told the women to bring their vision boards or bring a picture of it because, you might be coming from work and you don't want to carry around your vision board. So to take a picture of it on your tablet or your phone and bring it. But everybody who had a vision board brought the physical vision board because they were so proud and happy with it. And one of my friends, who's also my photographer, Maud Dujon of Miss Magic Lantern, she has come to every single vision board I've had since we moved to California almost 7 years ago. So I've had, I think, 5 vision board parties, and she's been at every one, and she goes to everything with vision board. And if you ever talk to her, she was like, before I met you, Kanesha. So we're friends and we're also neighbors. So we spent a lot of time together, and our youngest are the same age. They've been in school together. And she's like, I didn't believe in any of this. I didn't think this stuff worked or anything like that. And I said, it only works for however you put your energy into it. So what we did was we came together, we had our vision boards, and we talked about them, why you put this together on your vision board, what were you thinking in January, and then just gave everybody a snapshot of how their year has been from January to that point last week. And I am telling you, the ladies were talking about things that really mattered most to them and how they had their vision boards in very visual places, like, in their closets or at their in their office, in their desk, or by the pantry. And then some people talked about how they didn't have their vision boards out because they were feeling apprehensive about spending so much time working on what they desired the most or what they thought was most important to them, which was another thing we had to talk about untangling from. And just to step back, in January, everybody received this really beautiful curriculum, which is called the Bold Living Today Diet. It had quarterly goal setting in it. It had reflection pages and prompts. So something to take you from January up until the point we were going to meet in October. And then, of course, to round out the rest of 2019. So the biggest thing that I wanted to share with the ladies when they were talking about their vision board was, even though you haven't finished per se everything that's on it, this might be a good time of year to adjust it, because it is the last quarter and there might be some areas that, you need to put a pin in, put a pause in, because something else has come up that is more priority, which is totally okay. Or to really go back and, say, hey, I did that, and really pat yourself on the back for the things you did. And so some of the questions that came directly to me, as the facilitator of it, and, I had my mini vision boards and all of that. And the question was, what area did you anticipate being great, but then it exceeded your expectations? And so, of course, I got me a little weepy. And my word for this calendar year was, or still is, was boost. I really wanted to boost my exposure, boost the way I was helping people, boost the time I was spending on creative projects that really filled me up and supported my work and supported the Bold Living Today community. So I said, I had this goal over the calendar year to do at least 10, presentations / workshops. So it could be a presentation or a workshop, whatever the case, I wanted to have at least 10. And they said, well, how many did you do? And I said, I think I did about 15 for this calendar year. And they're like, ooh, that's awesome. And then my one friend who was there, who's gone to several of them, she's like, I'm sure it's more than that. And I was thinking, and she was like, you haven't had as much time to go to lunch with me. And I was like, okay. So I came home. What did I do with that paper? I came home and I went through my calendar, like I had to go through it line by line. And I don't know what I did with that sheet. Maybe I forgot to bring it here. But I just put the month, and then I went through and I just wrote down the number, that date, and then what activity I was doing. And when I counted it out, I told everybody that I had a goal of 10 and I did 15, but really it was 23 in-person presentations or workshops for the calendar year. And I've been so happily busy this year that I just kind of forgot some of the things, because I put it on my vision board. I was very specific about the type of groups I wanted to support: teens, parents, and women in transition, and small business owners who are women. Like, those are the areas I really wanted to be in spaces with them and to support them through creative practices, through visioning. And when I say visioning, it didn't have to be a vision board, but I have the whole focus protocol, and that's sort of a visioning process because it gives you the tools, but then however you like to see that work plays out, that's the visioning for you. So a blueprint, a vision board, whatever you need to make that happen. And so I've done 23 like presentations and workshops, a combination of those. And then I still have 2 more to go, as of today. 2 are scheduled for December, and I'm already scheduling stuff for 2020. So we were all, like, the ladies and I were just all celebratory of how we're showing up for ourselves, how we are talking to other people about these things and not being bashful, like, ooh, I don't want to say it, I don't want to share it, because then I'll have to actually do it. Like, we like the accountability. We love supporting and celebrating each other, and, really, really going deep in why certain things, certain goals, certain dreams, certain desires matter for us. So it was such a nice night, and I got, really great email messages the next day just saying, last night really filled me up. I was busy. I didn't know if I really wanted to come, but I thought I should. And then, it's just so nice to have that time. And the expectation is only to show up as yourself, talk about yourself, have people cheerlead you, and then figure out what, if at all, what you want to do next. And so one of the things that we talked about was the Thrive 75. And the reason I call it Thrive 75, or you could call it Thrive, whatever number you want. But at the time that I typically have the vision board meetup, in October, I try to have it in October. there's about 75 additional days left in that particular calendar year, because it's the last quarter. And so I said, even though we have about 75 days left, that doesn't mean that you have to push yourself to finish something in a frenzy. You can still be mindful, thoughtful, purposeful, and fully invested at a pace that sustains you, not depletes you, but sustains you. And so I had a whole list of different things they could think about. And we talked about having specific focus areas. And the ones that I had listed were mind, body, creativity, spirituality, work/business, community/activism, relationships/marriage/partnership, and parenting/caregiving. And then there was a spot if you had a different area. And so I had a beautiful template for the ladies, and they were to pick certain focus areas. And then that night, based on the vision board, we were like, okay, what area sustained you? How will you take that energy for these next focus areas? What else do we need to add to the vision board to support you, to motivate you, to encourage you, and inspire you? And then who will you reach out to get the additional support and help in those areas that you need? And so it was nice to have ladies, real-time focusing, real-time visioning. And of course, you can make changes and revisions when you have additional time to reflect. But I really like my participants to have a nice blueprint, a plan, a map, specific task and action items they're going to do, and have some support around that. Because when we get into our regular lives, our regular schedules, we sometimes forget about these goals or these agreements or the permissions we've given ourselves. So it was really nice to do that. And then we just, had some fun chit chat, and there was wine and little nibbles. So that was super, super fun. And then I always have the participants write sort of a love letter to themselves, or sort of like a prediction of what's to come. And they write that, and they put it in an envelope, and they seal it. And then I take it, and then I surprise them, and I mail it to them. And all of a sudden they get a love letter or prediction letter from themselves from, back in time. And it's just a nice surprise to be supportive and see where you are based on the goals you set for yourself that are all about you, driven by you, and where you get to be the star in your own Bold Living Today show. So it was a super good time. And everybody got these really fun goodie bags. I mean, who doesn't love a goodie bag? I love a goodie bag. And what it had in it was some different planning tools, like planning grids, information about the focus protocol and tools around it, some fun snacks, because sometimes hard work, you eat a snack, or you want to throw it in your purse and have it with you, or you're between carpool or between meetings or whatever the case you're doing, you need snacks always. And then I have a great partner at Bliss Beauty Center, and I had some beauty goodies from there that I shared with the ladies. And then, I had this fun packet, which is called the Sanity Ritual. So sanity to keep you sane. And then it just has 5 different steps for you to go through. And then it has a little tea bag in there, so you can have tea. I don't know if you can see that, but you can have tea and have a little inspiration and all that. So all the ladies got that goodie bag. And it was just a really good time for us to reconnect, talk about our goals, and share our visions, and then reinvest if you've kind of fallen off or have had to take a break for whatever reason, without judgment. If you had to pause your vision, this was a way to reignite it and to also start planting seeds for 2020. Because I said, you have an extra day, it's a leap year, so something you might not finish this year, you have an extra day in 2020. It's all good, it's all bold, you'll be able to do that. So that was a really great time, and I just really enjoyed supporting the ladies. And so coming up in January, I have 2 events, 2 vision board events. One's going to be at a craft studio, and the other is going to be at a spa. I'm super excited. So the enrollment information should be out sometime next week or the week after. My family really gets into Halloween, so I'm a little focused on that. So that'll be out there. And then I'm also in talks with another group to put together a vision board party for teens, because I'm so passionate about their wellness, their outer wellness, and their inner wellness, and them understanding how to advocate for themselves in this crazy endurance test of expectations. There's just so much going on for the teens, and we really need to be supporting them at a different level that does not involve just grades and just external achievement. So that's what's going on. So specific to the Thrive 75, I will have information about that in the show notes. So you'll be able to take a look at what I'm talking about. And if you're interested in it, you'll be able to access that. And like I said, if you missed any of the Wednesday clubs, you can definitely go back on Facebook or YouTube and see them. And so next week, we're going to be talking about wasting time, how we waste our own time and how we let other people waste our time and what to do about it to just stop the bleed of wasting time. And then also how to breathe and kind of luxuriate in success with maintaining your boundaries around your time and getting the right things done. Not getting everything done, not having this never-ending to-do list, but really having the right purposeful focus. And I'm always talking about the focus protocol because I just feel like we're so pulled in different directions. And I'll be talking about that next week. And then I'll also have some updates about the holiday guide that's coming out from the Bold Living Today community. I'm so excited about this project. I have the best graphic designer that's helping and some super, just really skilled women in business who are participating and showcasing their talents and how they can help you. So that'll be a guide that's going to come out in early November, but I'll talk more about the process and just keep giving you updates on that so you can anticipate that coming. So great information that'll be in the show notes about anything I've talked about today, information about how you can access the Thrive 75 information, and then of course stay tuned for information that's coming up about more events through Bold Living Today, and then specifically the vision board events and all of that. So have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining today. And, don't forget, you can always submit questions or suggested topics in the survey section for the Wednesday Club. That information will be also in the show notes. So, yeah, it's exciting. And so happy hump day and get outside, enjoy the weather. It's hot here today. I think it's going to be like 85 degrees. So it's autumn. But enjoy the day and gift yourself with some time to be creative and allow yourself to amplify your boldness on your own time and at your own pace. All right, everybody, have a good day.